matters. Let me see you move.
Love never felt so good. Can't I die if it ever could? Not like you. Oh.
Hello, everyone, and welcome aboard to Local Matters, where living local never felt so good. I'm Dottie Rimsey. So your child is autistic. Many people will say, what is his talent? The media typically portraying somebody who is more mildly impacted or someone who is an Asperger type, a genius. But the reality is many will not lead independent lives. And so often families and caregivers will need assistance from within the community. So the focus of Local Matters today is autism and how you can help make space for kids with autism in your community. We'll be right back to talk about that. Hello, everybody, and welcome aboard to Local Matters, where living local never felt so good. I'm Dottie Rimsey. So often movies portray people with autism as someone who may have an extraordinary gift, or perhaps they are only mildly impacted. But the reality, many will never be able to lead independent lives. Joining me to discuss autism and how it impacts families, marriages, and how you can make a really big difference in helping to enhance the many resources in your community. So welcome aboard.
Hi, welcome.
All right, Erica Brown.
Yes.
Amy Spruill.
Yes,
with
ma'am.
the Learning Tree.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
welcome. You know, guys, you guys are with the Learning Tree, and I will admit that when I first even heard of the Learning Tree, the only thing I knew about it was it provided tutoring services for kids. But you guys do so much more than that. Talk to me a little bit about who, first of all, who you guys are, the Learning Tree, and some of the programs that you offer.
Okay, the Learning Tree has 7 schools total
Okay.
that provide services including ABA, applied behavior analysis,
Okay.
to children ages 2 to 21.
Wow.
The 7 schools are located throughout Alabama. We're lucky to have 2 in our region, North Alabama region. We have
Okay.
1 in Jacksonville, it's a residential school.
Okay.
Then we have the preschool in Fort McClellan.
Wow.
There are other residential schools in Tallahassee, Auburn, Mobile, preschools as well, and a day school called Woody Song in Mobile.
Okay.
So we also have consulting services for Alabama, Georgia, Florida, and Mississippi,
Okay.
where we'll actually work with the public school systems with behavior plans for children that go there that need a little extra help.
Okay.
And then we have help for the parents,
Right.
and also we can help them as a service to provide things
Yeah.
that they need at home.
Sure.
That for children that have services through us.
So here's the thing. When I first even heard of the word autism, this was many years ago, the people were not aware of the term autism. And the first time I heard of it, and anyone bringing awareness about the disorder, was a young woman, and she was an actress, and she still is at the time, but she was more into acting then. And then she got married, had a child, and that's Holly Robinson Peete. And so she was the first person that really kind of brought the term autism to the forefront. And I will admit that at the time I also had a small child, and I was not aware of really the different types of, I guess, it's on a spectrum, if you will. Talk to me about autism in that way. If you will, April. April, are you a little bit more aware of autism in that way?
I am a little bit. It's
Amy.
okay.
Again, I
No
called you
worries.
April.
No worries.
People know sometimes I will definitely give you a name, so now you will be Amy April Spruill.
That's okay. I'll answer to anything, so that's fine. Yeah, autism has varied ranges. It's
Okay.
severe, moderate, mild.
Okay.
And basically children, all individuals have different aspects, so it really depends on the individual. There could be children or individuals that have difficulty with communication. It could be difficulty with social aspect of it, like approaching an individual or talking to someone with eye contact.
And I don't mean to cut you off.
No,
'Cause I
that's
think I have a full screen that I wanted to bring up because I really wanted to look at this full spectrum that I wanted to talk about in terms of the different types of disorders that may fall under the range of being autism. There it is, right there. So
Okay, yeah.
so there, yeah, there it is. And so looking at that this model here, you mentioned some of the disorders. ADHD is one.
ADHD, auditory processing, sensory integration disorder, those are all very common things related to autism. Because it is so broad,
Okay.
everything kind of falls into that. And a lot of times children come in with delays in these areas, or they have what's called PDD-NOS, and that's a progressive developmental disorder. A lot of children are diagnosed with that, and when parents come to those with those diagnoses, then there's other assessments you can do to pinpoint the exact areas where the child or individual have their deficit areas.
See, here's the thing. My older son, when he was younger, very smart, highly articulate. I mean, he would finish his work, probably had A+s on it, and would just get up out of his seat and walk around and tell the other kids, "Your work is not right. You know, you're doing it wrong." And so he had I guess he did this so often that school officials contacted me and wanted him to be tested.
Right.
And he was tested and was diagnosed with ADHD. Well, during that time, I was young. Again, the awareness was not there,
Right.
like it is now. So I didn't even understand what ADHD meant,
Right.
and not realizing it was a part of the spectrum. And of course, he was diagnosed and he was put on medication for a small time, and then he seemed to have done better. So me not knowing really the importance of keeping him on the meds, he did very well all through high school, all through grammar school, middle school, and high school, because he was able to blend in. He was able to blend in. So you work specifically with the preschoolers there at the Learning Tree,
Yes.
okay?
Yes.
Are there times that when parents, because I understand you guys have a full service where their children, that families feel they need to be there as a residential, that's where they're going to
We
live.
have a residential program and we have a preschool. The residential program is a 24/7 program, so the individuals are there. We do have a few students that are just day students, so
Okay.
they come to us during the day for education. And then we have students that are also integrated within to the public schools.
Okay.
So they're kind of with us part of the time, then they're with the public school. So it's a collaborative effort to make sure they're all getting what they need and to meet the specifications and help them become independent individuals and successful in their communities.
Okay. When we come back, Erica, I want to talk more about, because you guys are a non-profit agency. I really want to talk more about some of the other people you've partnered with here in the community to keep the facility going and to keep the resources there for the children. So we're going to go to break. We'll be back with more about the Learning Tree when we come back with more Local Matters. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Local Matters, where living local never felt so good. I'm Dottie Rimpsey, and I'm joined with Erica Brown and Amy Spruill. I've given her a name. You guys know I tend to do that from time to time, but she's Amy Spruill, and they are here with me from the Learning Tree. And we've been talking all morning long about the significance of having a Learning Tree in your community, and some of the services that they provide for families and for kids, and they are definitely unique. So welcome back. Erica, before we went to break, we were talking about autism overall, some of the many types of indicators that your child may exhibit if he has autism. I shared that, yes, my older son was diagnosed with ADHD when he was really young, and I was not aware that that's a form, if you will.
Linked to, yeah.
Or it's linked to autism. So what I want to do is go back. You mentioned earlier in the first segment that you guys offer a very unique service. It's called, what is it, ABA?
Applied Behavior Analysis.
Talk to us about that and what that means, because
I'll
it's
link
very
that to
unique
Amy.
that you guys
Yes.
offer that.
Yes.
ABA is called Applied Behavior Analysis, and it's
Okay.
a scientifically validated approach
Okay.
to teaching individuals appropriate social behaviors.
Okay.
And basically, in more layman's terms, you're observing behavior and you're seeing what in the environment is affecting that behavior.
Okay.
Okay, so say you have a child that's not making eye contact or is not talking. Why is that so? What's going on to inhibit them from making eye contact?
Right.
Is it that is first you have to get all medical things taken care of? Is it a visual impairment? Don't know. You have to get that checked out before you can do anything. So once you get all those factors out of the way, you then come up with systematic ways to teach the child appropriate eye contact. So it's something you work on all day, every day, 24/7 to get. And then you
So you got, this is being done at the Learning Tree.
Yes.
If
Yes,
a-
and it starts with something
If a family
simple.
gets the ABA services through a private agency
Okay.
that works with the child independently,
Okay.
it's very expensive.
Yes.
Fortunately, the Learning Tree being a nonprofit, that's where we come into play for children, especially families who may not be able to afford those services.
Right.
We provide them for free. We have a preschool that's on hand that's at daycare prices.
Okay.
They come and stay with us in a daycare, and then on the side we provide them ABA therapy. All of the services at the preschool are based on ABA, so they pretty much receive 35 hours a week of ABA services. If you get them in an individual situation, most families only get 2 to 3 hours a week.
Okay.
And that can range anywhere from 35 to 125 an hour.
Wow.
So it's extremely
And
expensive.
most families can't afford
It is
that.
endorsed by the Surgeon General, so it is an empirically validated type of therapy that is endorsed by the Surgeon General for the United States, David Satcher.
That's right.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, I can
Mhm.
remember his name, Satcher.
Yeah, right. And he's from right here in Anniston, you know that, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So he has stood behind the ABA therapy, which is a huge step for the autism world. So we really would like for people to know that ABA therapy is provided in this county.
And that is, yeah,
So
wow.
we can get that for their children.
I wanted to go back, April. You mentioned some of the indicators that families may not be aware of. There are certain
Correct.
indicators that I think families should know. I have a full screen created. I want to take a look at some of those. You mentioned that about no eye contact, but here's
Right.
some other signs. No big smiles or warm, joyful expressions. This is by 6 months or thereafter. That's not good.
Right.
So no back and forth sharing of sound, smiles, and other facial, not good.
Right.
No babbling, definitely. By 12 months, yeah. No back and forth, the gestures, as you mentioned, reaching, showing, you mentioned eye contact.
Eye contact, interacting with individuals, often children with autism. Not all, but some have difficulty interacting with individuals, and it's as simple as just walking up to someone and reaching out to shake a hand, or even standing beside one another and playing together. Those are all key indicators that there might be a little something else going on instead of just your child not developing the way they should.
Yes, and here's a no meaningful 2-word phrases and any
Yes.
loss of speech. What about on the other side? Because again, as I mentioned, my older son diagnosed with ADHD when he was younger.
Right.
He was on the other side that some say
on the high end.
on the high end,
Yeah.
very articulate, verbal, expressing, loving, well, really out there.
Right.
And so
High
when-
functioning and
high
low
functioning.
Yes.
So that's another form as well. Is that
The other end of the spectrum.
that's the other end of the so here we go. So the autism goes in a spectrum. Then you're saying so from a high end to a low end. All right. If they're on the high end, are there medications that they're provided? Because again, my son was diagnosed with the ADHD. So
Right.
yes, he was actually he was prescribed a medication. But what if they don't take it? If they're not taking it, what do you? Because you have the experience
Each child
to see.
is individual,
each
and all of that will be left up to the pediatricians. Medications and things, there's all different kind of theories out there, medications and whatnot, and pediatrician's the best person to guide you in that direction with your child, because some may need things like that and some may not. Some may just have a little extra therapy. And overcome those situations and be able to handle them. Nobody really grows out of autism, I don't think, but they do learn how to handle it. And they
Right,
do
yes.
learn how to control their emotions and their behaviors to where they can function more socially
Right.
in society. And they also may have to have a medication later on, but again, that goes back to a pediatrician or a doctor because they're all individuals. Once you meet one child with autism, you've met one child with autism. None of them can ever be compared because they're all so different.
Exactly, and that's why sometimes it goes so undiagnosed. And
Yes.
here we are. You are providing these types of services for people who may not otherwise be able to afford that. I really do want to come back and highlight and focus in on that. The types of we already talked about some of the programs you provide. Now, how are you able to help families to be able to provide this care for families. So we'll be right back with more Local Matters. Don't go away. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Local Matters, where living local never felt so good. I'm Dottie Rimpsey, and joined with Erica Brown and also Amy Spruill. They're here from the Learning Tree that is right here in our backyard. And I will be honest, I did not know the different types of services that are offered to families with children with autism. And I just thought they were a tutoring program. But I've learned so much more today, and I hope you have too. So welcome back. We've got so much to talk about. We could sit here easily for an hour.
Yes.
You guys provide these unique services for families who have children with autism.
Yes.
You mentioned the AB analysis. There was another point right before we went to break. You were talking about some of the other services, because I know you take them as early as 2 years old.
Yes.
And work with them all the way until they're 21.
Yes.
What is the registration process like? How do you guys determine?
Well, I can speak from the preschool point of view, and basically it's as simple as contacting me at the preschool. You can go to the website www.learning-tree.org, and that'll give you the information to all of our campuses. And basically it's an application processing fee, which is $50. Application, turn it in, and we'll go from there.
Okay, all
It's
right.
that simple.
So before they come to you at 2, do many parents, are they already aware that their child is autistic?
Some are, some are not. If they are not aware and we see signs, we'll give a referral for that child. And most of the kids that we do see are already in early intervention. So they're already receiving some type of service, whether it be speech, OT, PT, so on.
Right, because again, so a child can be diagnosed either medically or on an educational side. When my son was
Yes.
diagnosed with ADHD, my older son, he was like in the maybe second, third grade, but it was done through the school. They identified
Right.
some things that he.
They can come to the preschool with no diagnosis, but yes, you can have it medical or education.
What happens? So you'll work with them as from early as 2 years all the way to
to
21.
6.
What happens? You're from 2 to 6, and then from there they're going over into the other programs.
Well, from the 6 years of age, once they graduate out of the preschool, they go into kindergarten in a public school system. We transition that child at graduation day over into the kindergarten classroom and work with the teachers and how to understand the child when they're transitioned in. Now, the children from the residential program that are 6 to 21, those children have tried the public school system and it just didn't work for them.
Okay.
So we
Okay.
bring them in and we try to implement the ABA services for them that are needed. Every child has an individual program that is designed specifically for that child.
Wow.
That team of professionals works with that child in order to help that child be able to understand how to control their behaviors. So then we transition that child back into high school or back into middle school or elementary
yeah,
school even
right.
though, to where they can continue on a progressive level in a typical environment.
Right.
We don't want them to stay with us till they're 21. That's not
Right,
the
you
ultimate
love them,
goal.
but you don't want them to stay
Right.
forever and
The
ever.
ultimate goal is to transition them
Yes.
back into society
Right.
and back into the public school system in a progressive state. If they do stay with us at the age of 21, they will then transition out into a group setting, whether an adult group home, or go back into the home with the family.
And so you're working with the state too, I would imagine.
Yes,
doing
we
all of this.
are with the Department of Department of Education,
Yes.
and also the Department of Mental Health and the Department of Human Resources.
And human resources,
Yes,
definitely.
they are all partners with us.
Wow. And this is, look, nothing comes for free. This
Yes.
takes money.
Yes.
You're a nonprofit agency.
We are.
Yes.
How do you make some of these things happen? All of these resources are expensive. How do you make this happen?
It's grants through the state with the Department of Education, but that only covers a small amount.
Right, because that's you got to do your
Correct.
fair share.
Right.
You know
The
that.
preschool does not receive any of these services, though. They do get Department of Education, but nothing Department of Mental Health. So therefore, we fill in there with fundraisers.
Let's talk about some of those fundraisers now. What's your signature fundraiser?
Signature fundraiser around in this area is ACEs for Autism.
Okay.
ACEs for Autism is a gala. It's a casino night. It's a fun night. It's adults only. It's 21 and up. It's a cocktail attire, and we come in and have fun. We have live
Is
entertainment.
that coming up soon? I like to go.
It is.
Please do.
Anything if I get dressed up and go for a cocktail
Yeah,
or two.
exactly.
Yeah.
It's April the 23rd.
April the 23rd.
It'll be at the Buckner on Fort McClellan.
Okay.
Tickets are available online at Eventbrite, or you can contact anybody at any of our schools.
At the Learning Tree.
All of our
Or-
staff are prepared to sell a ticket.
Or you
so-
can go online again to where?
to acesforautismgala.eventbrite.com.
Okay.
You can read about it on there as well. Each ticket comes with $500 in gaming chip, or charity chips is what we call them. Dinner, cocktails, live and silent auction, paddle numbers, and the live entertainment.
Wow.
You also get door prizes as well for whatever you win through the night. You don't have to know how to play anything. It's a great night
Yeah,
to
because
learn.
I would be clueless sitting there.
Yeah, it's a great
that's-
time to learn how to
Definitely.
do stuff.
Yeah, I would be clueless. Yeah.
But Gar Frericks is catering. They'll have live chef stations set up inside, cooking in front of all of the attendees. We have great donations that have been placed before us by Target, Bed Bath & Beyond, Chick-fil-A, Starbucks, Couches Jewelers. We have shotguns, Browning shotguns, and all that'll be donated for the auction.
Okay.
Sunny King Ford, Omnicare,
Sunny King Ford. Yeah.
Pediatrics Plus, and RMC Medical Center are
RMC,
our title sponsors for this year.
Okay.
We have several more that are on the
Huge
list.
event.
Yes.
So
yes.
let's go over that again one more time. It was April the 23rd, and at the Buckner.
Yes.
And what time does it start again?
6 to 10.
6 to 10. What is it? The cost to get in?
It's $75 a single or $125 for a couple.
Okay. And again, if they want to get their tickets ahead of time, they can call any Learning Tree.
Any Learning Tree campus, Jacksonville or Anniston, either one will have, all the staff there has tickets for sale. We had 300 tickets available. We're down to 85.
Wow.
Yeah.
So they're going fast.
They're going fast,
They're
yes.
going fast. I just
So-
want to say, you know what? I'm so impressed with what you're doing with the Learning Tree. I wished I would have known about services that you provide. When my older one was diagnosed with ADHD, I had no clue. And I really struggled with that because the awareness just wasn't there. We thank you for joining us here on Local Matters. We've got to go now, but we look back to see you with more Local Matters next week. Good night, everybody.